In January 2016, Leslie Benzies, one of the development leaders at Rockstar Games, left the company. He was a strong influence in the development of the Grand Theft Auto game series. Literally billions of dollars were made from this franchise. But after many controversies, Leslie Benzies is diving deep into a new project that could be a failure and place a very respected figure under public scrutiny.
And today, we're delighted to give you a peek behind the curtain at what we've been working on.
Leslie believes he will revolutionize the online gaming scene with a project that generates much more doubt than excitement. In 2024, one of the biggest catastrophes in the gaming industry might be about to happen. Throughout the ages, humanity has always valued energy, so much so that our first and most important advances were in hunting and agriculture, indispensable for meeting the body's basic needs. Evolution continues and reaches a point where survival is guaranteed, and people begin to worry about comfort. The era when the oil industry became one of the largest, shaping our entire civilization. And despite still being very relevant, we can already say that we are entering a new era. And the new oil is attention. The biggest companies of the last few decades are working to mine this resource from each person. Your attention is the most important thing in this new business model. So important that you begin to gain access to cutting-edge technology products for free. Or almost that. Games have always been a great way to understand how technology is evolving. It has always been fascinating to see how graphics became more beautiful and realistic over the decades. With greater processing power, video games could reproduce more details of the real world and implement new and complex gameplay mechanics, until the moment arrived when people began to question whether they liked the direction this industry was taking. The promise of being able to play video games online with your friends was something that people found very interesting. Being able to play with your friends without having to share the screen, and even becoming part of a huge community, engaged with frequent updates. A concept that began to extend the lifespan of games significantly. And if you can keep the player's interest without having to create a new game, it means you will profit greatly, making millions and millions of dollars every month. This caught the attention of almost everyone in the industry. Everyone started working on an infinite game project, which became known as live service games, usually a free game that will be frequently updated to maintain the player base. With the advent of microtransactions, it was found that on average, players spend much more money on these games than if they had bought a full-price campaign game. And this is a big problem because there is a conflict of interest. Many people have a complete aversion to games as a service, but due to the high potential for generating money that these projects have when successful, it is so tempting that many companies simply will not think twice. However, we have already moved past this phase. Overwatch, which was once a major online game and promised to become one of the leaders in what we call esports, has nowadays become a joke. Blizzard faces harsh criticism, and the release of Overwatch 2 was not well received, even with a 100% discount. But this does not mean a shift in the industry, just a consequence that could have been very well predicted. In the race to keep people paying attention to your product, you will be competing with many other companies, beyond just games. Fortnite is competing with all the other activities that its player has. After all, each person's day only has 24 hours. When they are having breakfast, in traffic, at school, watching TV, or even sleeping, Fortnite gets jealous. So, we have a scenario where people who enjoy single-story games are getting less attention from these companies, which are incessantly trying to carve out their space among games as a service. A very difficult task, as they will have to compete with well-established products like Counter-Strike, League of Legends, Apex Legends, Fortnite, Dota 2, Monster Hunter, and Roblox.
And it's unironically better than MW2. It's better than Call of Duty multiplayer.
And on October of 2018, it was announced that Benzies created a company called Build a Rocket Boy, a new studio that began working on a project called Everywhere. The first images were, for some reason, a black RV with the game's old logo. Later, more information and images about the project started to emerge. Essentially, they promise the project will be great, divided between a realistic AAA campaign game titled Mindseye and another online game called Everywhere, which seems to be a community-driven platform where players would create their own games and share them so everyone could be part of it. This is where the project starts to take a strange turn. Everywhere will be a platform where the content is made by the players themselves. But this doesn't sound as revolutionary and exciting as the game's developers may think. After all, this idea is not unheard of. In 2020, Manticore Games and Epic Games launched Core, described as an infinite universe of games to play and worlds to explore, designed by a global community of creators. Yep, exactly the same thing. In September 2019, Manticore Games announced that it had raised $30 million to finance Core through a Series B funding round. In September of 2020, it was announced that Manticore Games had raised another $15 million, with the largest contributor being the video game company Epic Games. Epic Games' interest in financing Manticore was linked by Dean Takahashi of VentureBeat to the desire to create a metaverse where various different gaming platforms would be interconnected. In March 2021, Manticore Games announced that it had closed a $100 million Series C funding round and described Core as a multiverse creator. It is always quite suspicious when companies start using a lot of buzzwords to explain their projects. No one really knows what a metaverse is. Core was a game that received all kinds of criticism, even about the character visuals, which were ugly, a common disease that affects companies involved with the metaverse. The few praises about Core were related to its monetization system, the revenue split. Map creators could earn good money if their creations became popular within the community. Core allowed creators to convert revenue generated within this metaverse into real money, which had the potential to create an ecosystem. But in practice, this did not happen, as people were not interested. Core had a modest launch and faded into obscurity. But Epic Games wasn't so sad. They already have almost the same system in Fortnite. Similarly, ordinary people can create maps for the community and withdraw real money for it, with the difference that Fortnite is one of the most popular games.
When this, nobody thought this Creative 2.0 shit would go anywhere. But after seeing this chat, holy...
Actually, Epic Games is not the leader. It is just following a big business model established by Roblox, the game that has a massive player base and is completely driven by the community, which creates all the maps and moves a billion-dollar economy. You don't need to play Roblox to have heard terms like Blox Fruits, one of the most famous maps that emulates the universe of One Piece. A success that leaves players ready with their credit cards to acquire the valuable Blox Fruits. Focused on the Gen Z audience, Roblox's success has only been increasing in recent years, and more investments are being made. So, generally speaking, we can say that within this style of game, with an economy driven by the community and allowing real money withdrawals, Roblox attracts the attention of younger players, while Fortnite attracts a teenage and young adult audience. So, which audience will Everywhere cater to? Would this game be aimed at the older segment of gamers? That's not what the graphics suggest, although Build a Rocket Boy is indeed working on a realistic AAA game set in a cyberpunk future. The part of the project that promises this metaverse, and all the other buzzwords that no one is quite sure about, has these graphics. Yup, a bit silly and childish.
Wait, what?
No gameplay?
They look like two different things entirely.
There you go, everywhere.
Is Leslie Benzies really trying to compete directly with Roblox and Fortnite? If so, then this fight might be a dark chapter in the career of the former Rockstar leader. Everywhere seems to have been built with a very controversial technology in mind: blockchain, on which cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum operate. Blockchain became a controversial topic with the boom of NFT in 2021. Even Core ventured into this territory. Although it made sense with the platform's economy, it still generated rejection from players. The NFT wave has significantly diminished, and many companies that joined this movement are now trying to erase those records. Build a Rocket Boy does not mention NFT or blockchain in its few explanations about Everywhere, but many people have made some connections between the timing when this project was being developed and a part of Build a Rocket Boy's official website, which, in the job vacancies section, had a position for senior backend programmer and smart contract developer in the blockchain area. Could this be a warning sign? The truth is that everything related to blockchain has this negative image because of the numerous scams that have appeared on the internet. But the technology itself is real. Blockchain works and fulfills a very important function for the online economy, being useful for transaction practicality, security, and privacy. It is possible to use this in a game positively, but it will be very difficult due to all the damage done by the infamous Bored Apes. So, it is likely that Leslie Benzies has left that idea in the past. He still has a bigger problem to solve: how to prevent Everywhere from being a dead game at launch. Games that rely heavily on online interaction for most of their content and commercial appeal automatically become more fun and interesting when they have a huge player base. Whenever there is news that an online game has lost players, it automatically causes the game to lose even more players simply because, as social beings, we don't want to be left alone in an empty room. It can quickly feel like we're on a sinking ship. Everyone wants to be part of the most popular trend. Roblox has been growing increasingly popular precisely because, despite its silly graphics, more and more people are drawn in by the social factor. You might not want to play Roblox until a friend of yours starts playing it, and you realize that if you don't start playing too, you might end up alone. This could explain why there will be two titles in one. Mindseye, which aims to be a campaign game, might play a significant role in the marketing of the entire project. Beautiful and realistic graphics are highly appreciated, so they must have some strategy to convert this interest into players who will dedicate themselves to building maps in a new metaverse. Mindseye could serve as the initial hook to attract players with its high-quality visuals and engaging single-player experience, thus building a strong initial user base. Once players are captivated by Mindseye, they may be more likely to explore the additional features of Everywhere, including the user-generated content aspect. If successful, this strategy could create a feedback loop where the popularity of Mindseye helps to establish a vibrant community in Everywhere, preventing it from becoming a dead game at launch. By having Mindseye as part of the package, Build a Rocket Boy can attract a diverse audience, leveraging the campaign game's appeal to drive interest and participation in the online component. This dual approach could be crucial for ensuring the long-term success and sustainability of Everywhere. But you must have thought of something that I didn't mention in this video. So comment below, what are your ideas about the future of Leslie Benzies outside of Rockstar Games? In a release close to GTA 6, leave a like and subscribe.